Hello. Welcome back to another podcast episode. I'm so excited that you are here. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are in the world. Blows my mind, still always will, that there's people around the world. But this is a video episode. I'm doing video episodes from now on. So you will see me on Spotify as a video, Apple as audio, and YouTube as well. So whatever tickles your fancy. I like watching the video episode when I watch podcasts myself. I don't know why. I feel like I'm just like more in the convo. So jump on the video if you can, unless you're like driving, walking the dog, whatever it may be. Walking the dog, you might like run into a puddle or I don't know, fall over unless you're paying attention. So maybe just audio, but I want to talk about getting visible online, because it seems that 2024 is the year that everyone in my community, in my world, wants their business to blow the fuck up. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for it. And I want to give you insight into what I believe is important when it comes to becoming visible. Now, this might be part one of many. I've got so many things I want to speak about. But when you think about someone who is visible already, and someone might come to mind really quick, what is it about them that makes them visible? Yes, it's like, you know, they exist. That's the first sort of indication. But in terms of you knowing them and liking them, what is it? And what it really is for me is two main things. And obviously there's like umbrellas for all of this, but the two main things is that I can see them and I can hear them, which basically for the two is I can see them as in they're showing up daily. I know what they look like. I know what they sound like. I know what their energy is like, which is a really powerful one, especially if you are an online coach, you're a service provider, you're doing some kind of more one-to-one or close proximity work in whatever capacity. I think it's so important that people can be in your energy, know what it's all about, especially if you are also working with clients that might need that extra bit of safety. So whether it is even like a PT, a gym owner, someone working with like new mums maybe, or sort of like counseling areas, that those kind of things where it's like an extra level of safety is needed. It's so important that you are showing up with your face, and like I said, also your voice as well. Now your voice for me also covers off, as you can see, my brain is like so visual. It's sort of like an umbrella. So you've got your voice and your face, and coming out of it, your voice also includes things like your opinion and your values. Because if you didn't have opinion and values and you didn't show your face, you would not be memorable. You would not be familiar. You would not be very likable, because there's nothing to like other than the facts that you're speaking. So this is where when people fall into the trap of only posting educational stuff, for example, it can help, but it might not convert, right? So you might get a lot of engagement. You might get a lot of people saying, wow, your stuff's great, but no one actually converting. And that's because it's missing that part of people falling in love with you. You as the service provider, right? People need to fall in love with you. And think of a relationship like a romantic relationship, a friendship, even like mother-daughter, whatever relationship you can think of. It's all going to be built off liking some kind of quality, some kind of values are similar in each other. How can people know that if you're not sharing that? So when it comes to your face and your voice, what I really mean to say is let people into you. If you want to become visible, people need to hear you and see you. And if right now you're scared to be seen and heard, but you want to become visible, you can see where that disconnect is happening. A lot of the time, people are so scared to be seen and heard because of judgment. And it was me for so long. There's still moments for me where I'm like, oh my God, like online world is crazy. But I always come back to reminding myself that every single time someone judges you, they're only projecting onto you something that they're not willing to look at themselves. You've activated something in them that they're not comfortable looking at, they're not willing to look at. So instead of doing that, they project onto you. Let's say the classic, right? The classic people dancing on socials. It's the conversation that comes up all the time with my private clients. I'm scared to be that person And I'm like, well, are you judging that person? And they say, yeah, I am judging people who are dancing on TikTok and Instagram. I'm like, well, no wonder you don't want to become that, because you're judging that right now. You're scared to hold the judgment from other people. And equally, would you be comfortable jumping up and dancing? And they're like, hell no. And it's not to say that you have to jump up and dance to be able to share what you have to offer with the world and sell your services. But what it is saying is that for as long as you're projecting on other people yourself, of course, it's going to be really hard for you to do the same thing. So if you see someone on socials who is sharing their opinion, sharing their thoughts, ruffling some feathers, being so authentically them, maybe they're being really vulnerable, or they're sharing some part of themselves or their life that isn't really something that you would share, that's all it gets to be. But the minute you start to project onto them, you judge them, you go, oh my God, how embarrassing. Oh my God, look at this. That's so embarrassing. Like, why would she do that? Or what an idiot, or how stupid, or her opinion's wrong. Whatever the thing is, the minute that you can actually drop your own judgment of other people online, you'll find that it'll become so much easier to show up. Then when you do show up, whenever you think about, oh, I'm scared of judgment, you also get to think, well, it's okay, because if they judge me, it's got nothing to do with me. It's got everything to do with the person on the other side. So what I want you to think is, right now, are you sharing your face and your voice? Remember that it's not just like you showing up on stories and talking, it's people really getting to know the person behind the scenes. If you're a personal brand, people are buying into you. We know that, right? Especially if, of course, you're a service-based business, most of you, in which case, how are they going to trust you to buy from you, especially to give you hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever that figure may be, if they don't even know what you're all about? I can promise you that if I never showed my face and I never shared my opinion and I never showed you my values, you wouldn't know what it's like to be in my world. And the reason people jump into paid containers with me is because they know what to expect. I've already given them a taste of what I'm all about, of my values, of my opinions, of my perspectives, of my knowledge. And more importantly, it's also so important because this is going to position you as the authority, as the go-to. Being able to do this means that people are going to see you as the person to go to for that transformation. The more that you can share your opinions and values, because otherwise you're just going to fall into the pack. You're going to fall into the sea of thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people in your industry who are doing the same thing, competing on product or service. What this does is actually removes you from competing with everyone else. It puts you in your own lane, because when you're sharing your opinions and your values and your thoughts, your perspectives, all of the things, people are coming to you for that specific thing, for that specific piece of advice. You could go to 100,000 different people in the world and ask for their opinion on something. So why is someone going to come to you if all you're sharing is the very safe, palatable, plain Jane perspectives? It doesn't mean that you have to be judgmental, be nasty, or move into to like problem sort of marketing, pain marketing, be in the negative world, put shit on people. It doesn't mean that at all. It means you actually get to stand in your power and share how you want to impact the world. You get to share what you choose to normalize. And people are going to be so magnetized towards that. So if right now you're like, I feel like people are kind of there, but they're not like, you're my human, I want in. Just question, are you showing up, your face, your voice? And are you sharing your opinions and your values and your perspectives and your advice? Remove the idea that you have to be professional. Remove the idea that you have to be even educational. Just speak from the heart, from what you know. Because whatever the thing is that you sell, you know it back to front. You're embodied in it. You love it. And you could speak to a freaking brick wall about it. That's why you're selling the thing that you sell. So share that, let people into that. because they're going to be so magnetized towards that. And that is what makes you visible. It's when people can connect with something. Are you giving people a reason to connect? Are you giving the algorithm a reason to push your content to more people? Or are you saying the same thing that everyone else is? That's what I want you to question. Go and open your TikTok and your Instagram, and I want you to look at the last 9 posts at your grid. And I want you to think, am I playing it really safe? Is it really palatable? As in, I like too scared to ruffle any feathers, and I'm just going to be like the nice guy, and I'm just going to like say what everyone else is saying. Do you have your own perspective on it? Have you got your own like spice on it? Are you saying it through some certain lens of your own? Or are you just spitting facts that I could Google? Let's say you are a business coach. Are you sharing the way that you've built your business? Are you saying, here's how I did a 10K month? Here's how I build momentum in business. This is what I would look at. This is my strategy. Or are you saying, here is how to grow your business? Which is what I could type into Google. See, it's like even the language shifts can change everything, let alone the actual content of the content itself. So even question, okay, am I playing it really safe? Am I saying what everyone else is saying? Am I posting stuff that could just literally simply be Googled? Have I got my own spice, flair, lens on the thing that I'm saying? Because here's the thing, right? When it comes to visibility, so many people think straight to, how do I like amplify what's already being said? And that's fair. And when I think to visibility, it's almost like, well, you have to build the place for people to come first. And this is my analogy. And if you're an OG, you would have heard this before. So you've heard this, but I haven't said it in a hot minute. This is how I picture it, right? There is an open home. And what your content is doing is standing out the front with a sign saying, hey, come inside. But if people come inside, and inside your house, your open home, it's a hot mess. There's crap everywhere. It's so dirty. It hasn't been cleaned in that long. There's like a rat running along the ground. People aren't going to stay. So this is the thing when it comes to visibility. Yes, it's important to go across different platforms. Yes, it's important to collaborate. Yes, it's important to increase the volume and the consistency and all of the things, right? A lot of stuff that I'll probably make more episodes about. But I actually think the first part to visibility is making sure you've got a place for people to come and stay. There's no point pushing visibility and doing all of this stuff to get more eyeballs if the eyeballs aren't going to stick around. So the first part is like, you've got to build this house so rock solid, so beautiful, so clear that it makes people want to come in. And your house isn't just any house. It's not just the same house that's next door and then the door after that, right? You're not one of those houses that are like, you know, the ones that are in a line that are like apartments and they're all the fucking same. Yours isn't like that. Not at all. You've got a different gate. You've got a beautiful letterbox. The entrance is like, oh my gosh, stunning. People just want to be in there just by the facade because it's so beautiful and it's so intentional. And then you're out the front with a megaphone saying, hey, here's what you have to know about my house. Come in or don't. I don't care. This is my house and I love it. That's what your content's doing. But if you're standing there going, I hope people come. I really hope people come. And you're just listening to what the other houses are saying, and then you're just repeating what the other houses are saying very quietly because you're scared. You're really scared to sort of just even let your voice out. And the door's closed because you're like, oh, I'm scared that if you come in, you're really going to judge my tile selection in my kitchen. I just don't know if I want to let you in. That's what you're doing when you're just copying what everyone else is doing and regurgitating the same information and just hoping that people are going to come along. But imagine if you stood there and went, my kitchen tiles, they're fucking elite. You should come and see them. They're the sickest tiles you'll ever see in your life. They're so good. And my house, this is how you decorate a house. Welcome, come in, you're invited. Here's your invitation, aka you selling on socials. Here's your invitation, please come in. You've got your music on, you got your outfit going, and you're like, hell yeah, come inside, you're welcome. And there's people walking past and you don't care because you know what you're focused on? The people that are inside your house and how much they love your house and how much they love your kitchen tiles, that they actually call their friends and they say, oh my God, come to this house, it's insane, it'll blow your mind. That's what it's like with content. But by you not showing yourself, there's no one standing on your balcony, you're inside and the door's locked. By you not sharing your voice, there's no megaphone out there. The gates are closed and you're crossing your fingers and hoping that someone will come in. That's not what leaders do. Leaders stand there in their power and they go, come in. Welcome. Welcome into my house. This house is built for this type of person. It has been created especially for this type of person. If you think about all the people who are visible, why are they visible? It's because they have a certain value. They have a certain perspective. They're very intentional with their messaging, which we're going to speak about. They are so happy and excited to be seen and heard. And they stand in their power. And even if people walk past and throw eggs at their house and say, this house is stupid, it doesn't matter, because why would they want those people in their house? They just wave from the balcony. They just let them walk to the next one because they're not for them. That's what you get to do. So how can you be louder in what you have to say? How can you share your perspectives even more? How can you show up even more? How can you be on stories every day? How can you be posting reels every day? How can you be going live or jumping in the broadcast channel and voice noting everyone in your community? How can you go live in the Facebook group? How can you post a podcast but do it a video instead of an audio? There are so many ways that you can get people to just know exactly what it's like to be in your world, because that's all they need. There might be people right there looking at the thing that you offer, but they just need a taste. That's all they need. And the minute that they taste what you have to offer, they're going to want in, because what you have to offer is so freaking good and it gives them the transformation that they're looking for. Content is the thing that connects you to the client. It's that taster for what to expect once they are a paid client. A really cool way to look at it too is if for example, you were met with a situation, and if you're an OG of mine, it would be so cool if you could think, what would Lily do in this situation? How would Lily react to this? What would Lily say to me right now? And if you can think about how I would respond, what I would say, then I've done my job. Because you know what I value and you know what my perspective would be. One of my freelancers said that to me the other day. She was like, oh my gosh, I was met with this experience and I just thought, what would Lily do? And she was like, oh, I thought this is what you'd say, and so this is what I did. And I was like, literally, what would Lily do? That's what I want you to think. Can your clients, can your audience, your community, would they be able to imagine what you would think in a situation, how you would respond, how you would react, whether you would agree with something or not? That's when you know that your community knows you really well. And that's because you've been sharing your values and your perspectives. Can your audience picture you behind the scenes? What it would look like if they were to click play on a video of you today or in this moment? Could they picture what you would be doing? I bet you that if you've been in my world for a hot minute, not even an OG, just a hot minute, then you could probably picture what happens in my mornings. I'm very intentional with that because it shows you my values. I bet that if I said I was recording a podcast, you could picture what it looks like, which is not much. It's like, can they picture you behind the scenes? Can they picture how you would react or respond to something? And if the answer is hell fucking nah, they would have no idea. They have no idea what I'm all about. Go and show them. You know what else is a really cool sentence? If only they knew. I have people say that, and I used to say it as well, where I was like, oh my God, if only my clients knew X, Y, and Z. And then a mentor said once, well, go and tell them. Go and show them. And I was like, true. True. So if you're ever like, freaking hell, if only my clients knew this. If only they knew what I'd gone through, what I've come from, or what I've built, or how hard I work behind the scenes, or how much work I pour into this project. Are you showing them? Are you telling them? And it doesn't mean you have to show them every freaking part of your life or tell them stories you don't want to tell them or bits like that. Use your own discernment. But it's like, just let people in. Let the walls down. Let people in. And I promise you, you'll see such a massive difference in terms of just visibility, eyeballs in your world, and more importantly, conversions as well, which is what we're looking for, which is so important. I want to invite you to a space. I've just launched it. I came up with the idea this morning and I've just launched it because that's what we do. We create momentum when we move, and it's free and it's a challenge, and I'm so freaking excited about this. It is called The Go-To. It's the free challenge, and it is going to teach you how to become the go-to in your industry. So we're going to be chatting all things content, becoming the go-to, becoming visible, all of that kind of jazz. We start next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to have 3 calls. We're going to have a strategy call. We're going to have a bit of a workshopping call, and also a Q&A in terms of all things content, socials, marketing, becoming visible, brand, all of the things. And I'm so excited to see you there. Just DM me on Instagram at @DailyHolmes if you want the link. And if it is after the end of Feb, I'm trying to get the dates, after I think it's the 26, 27, 28, or it could be 27, 28, 29 next week. If it's after that in 2024, in February, then you have missed out. But don't worry, DM me. I have so many good freebies for you that you can jump into as well. I'll see you on the next episode.